Rani Yahya is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu specialist who wants to drag his opponent to the mat and crank a limb or squeeze a neck until they submit. But like all BJJ guys in MMA, he often faces issues when it comes to taking his man down. But Yahya has developed some interesting tricks that mix his ground game with his wrestling, allowing him to drag down otherwise better wrestlers. Most of Yahya's takedowns come off the high crotch, which has identical penetration to a double leg, but with both arms wrapped around one leg. The key to a high crotch is posture. Keeping the hips, spine, and head in alignment allows the offensive wrestler to drive in and force the opponent's weight to their far foot, where it becomes easy to double off or run the pipe. However, because Yahya isn't a very comfortable striker or wrestler, he ends up shooting from too far away and killing his own posture, which makes it impossible to reliably double off or run the pipe. Instead, he'll lace his arms together under the knee and suck their leg into him while pressuring with his shoulder, forcing them into a crackdown position. The crackdown is a scrambly position with offensive options for both fighters. The most important positional cue for the offensive wrestler is that the inside shoulder must remain in the inside pocket of the hip. If the shoulder moves to the outside, you lose your ability to pin the opponent's hip and they can begin taking your back. Yahya will often camp out in the crackdown position and wait for a response. Occasionally his opponent will try to run from the position, but this is the worst thing they can do as it creates space for Yahya to get his inside arm around the far hip. With both hips wrapped, he can easily finish to a double leg. When Yahya's opponents stay tight and wrestle through the position, his wrestling usually isn't good enough to work up to a finish, but he has something else in his back pocket. Here Chase Beebe has beat Yahya in the crackdown position, stepping over his leg and slipping his shoulder off the hip to begin working towards his back. As Beebe moves to his back, Yahya keeps his grip inside the thigh and chair sits, pulling Beebe on top of him and using his left leg to elevate the hips, settling into deep half guard. From there, Yahya can work for a sweep, try to take the back, or throw his legs up to find a leg lock.
Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight.
He regularly hits deep half guard entries from a turtle position by grabbing inside the thigh and sitting out. Sometimes the sit out generates enough momentum and breaks their base for him to turn right into a takedown, but other times he'll just pull them on top and work on sweeping from deep half guard. There's a common idea in MMA and BJJ that the high crotch is too dangerous as it leaves your neck open. But in truth, it only exposes you if done with poor posture and positioning. Yahya's posture actually does expose his neck though, as he often winds up entering the crackdown position with his head low and past his hips, which gives him a precarious center of gravity and leaves the guillotine choke open. However, this can work to Yahya's advantage, as opponents will often attack the guillotine, which puts them in a grappling exchange with Yahya, and leaves them on the bottom if they fail. The only time he's actually been submitted by the guillotine was early in his MMA career, as he leapt after a double leg. After that, he mainly pursues the high crotch, which lets him bring the leg in tight while keeping his shoulders tight to his chin, so an arm can't easily slot in around his neck. When Yahya is able to push his man back to the cage with a high crotch, he has a unique finish. With the cage in the way, he's unable to force the crackdown position, so instead he aligns his body parallel and steps over the near leg. His opponent will almost always respond by draping their arm across his back. either to put their weight on him or to control his far wrist and prevent him from locking hands around the leg. But it's a trap. As soon as he feels the hand under his armpit, he clamps down on it and executes a Peterson roll, rotating them over the trapped hand. By stepping over the leg first, Yahya takes away their ability to post with that leg, then continues his roll all the way through until he's able to finish to both hips and come on top. While Yahya prefers the high crotch, he'll occasionally end up with a single leg in messy wrestling exchanges. When this happens, he looks to control the ankle and use his head to drive them over the leg, or come out the back door in an Iranian lift if they resist the pressure. Just like with the high crotch, when he encounters resistance that he can't push through, he'll drop into half guard and use the momentum to come back up on the leg. While the high crotch to deep half guard transition uses the inside grip on the leg to get underneath his opponent, the single leg converts into underhook half guard and allows him to immediately turn into them and begin working for a sweep. As long as you have the underhook in proper posture, there's infinite transitions between single legs and half guard, as the underhook half guard is essentially just an unfinished single leg.
What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you're desperate for more MMA grappling content, I wrote a much more in-depth breakdown of Rani Yahya's grappling for premium Substack subscribers, which goes over his deep half guard sweeps, his body lock and tight waist series on top, and his funky K-guard attacks. You can find it at mixingmartialarts.substack.com, along with weekly fight analysis and Muay Thai recaps. Only $5 per month gets you access to a growing library of in-depth premium articles, as well as early access to evergreen videos.